back with another true crime video. And this week it's all about what was seemingly a very innocent situation turned into an innocent mother being betrayed by the people she trusted. And how the outcome of this case will make you so angry. I don't even have words to finish that sentence. It will just make you very angry. Also, this is a true crime glam time video. I haven't done my makeup in one of these in quite some time, so I thought I would today spice it up again, just a little. Should we get into it? I think we shall. Okay, so we are looking into the Worrell family, who were just a very normal, well, I say normal, they were the ideal family. Everybody loved this family. They seemed very happy, they were very wealthy, and they had a very good business. They were located in Middle Georgia and owned a very, very successful amusement park. Everybody in this community was very close-knit and all enjoyed taking part in things that would benefit charities and going to church. They'd all go to the country club after church and just have like Sunday roast together. Like, everybody knew everybody in this town. Jon and Doris Worrell were college sweethearts. They knew each other since college and had been together since college. And then obviously as time progressed, they got married, had 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. And like I said, had a very, very successful business. So to everybody in the community, they were the ideal family, you know, happy and rich. One day, a teenage immigrant from Venezuela called Paola Yarberry was left on the church's doorstep, just abandoned. So the Worrells very kindly invited her into their home. Now, originally, Doris invited Paola to come and stay on their sofa for a few nights. But somewhere along the way, that transitioned into Paola living with them. 4 years now pass and 19-year-old Paola is still living with them. Not only that, but she is now nannying Jon and Doris's 3 children and is working at the family amusement park. But that's not all that's changed in that 4 years. Doris actually finds out that Jon has been having affairs with much younger girls, but they're still together. We're now looking at a hot September morning at 9:30 a.m. and Jon says that he needs to quickly run to the hardware store, so he takes off, leaving both Doris and Paola alone together. And then at some point before 11:15 a.m, gunshots are fired, and Doris is now seen lying in a pool of her own blood. She had been shot point blank in the head, and upon examination they found that part of her finger had gone, so they're assuming that she had her hands over her head and her finger got blown off with it. As soon as a gunshot is heard, Paola runs to hide, and she hides in a little tunnel until Jon returns. Now, the first thought when looking for a suspect was that this was a gang retaliation, because apparently this was a very good hangout spot, and when Jon had asked them to leave, they'd come back to seek revenge. Now, this theory had some traction until Doris's sister gives a little bit of information that seems to turn everything on its head. Now, we know that Jon was having affairs with younger girls, but guess who one of those younger girls was? Paola. The young girl that they had welcomed into their home, that was nannying their children and working at their business. That Paola. And this wasn't a relationship they were trying to hide anymore. Not in front of Doris, anyway. They had decided that they were just going to let it be known that they were a thing. And Doris had hit breaking point. She was not happy. And all of her friends were telling her, just leave. And she wanted to. But there was one thing keeping her there. And that was that she didn't want them to win. She'd welcomed Paola in, you know, out of the kindness of her own heart, letting her live there, giving her a job, letting her take care of her kids. And then Paola goes and does this. I'm not putting blame just on Paola here, I'm putting blame on Jon as well, because that's his wife, the mother of his children, business partner. Not that that part matters, but these are 2 people that she had put all of her trust into, that she never thought would, you know, betray her, and they've gone and done this right in front of her. And I know I said there was one reason, but this reason is a little bit more chilling. One of her friends tells her to just leave and go home to her mother, but she turns around to this friend and says, "You don't know what they'll do to me." Things are starting to look sus. Very suspicious. Now, apparently Jon was very cooperative at the start of the investigation, but the more and more they started pressing on his relationship with Paola, the more he started to back off. And then he requested an attorney, meaning that the investigators couldn't ask him any more questions, putting more and more suspicion on his relationship with Paola and why they were trying to now hide it. The investigators now narrowed in on Paola because she was an illegal immigrant. Her paperwork, when she first moved over when she was like 5 years old, was never completed. And so she seemingly overstayed her welcome in America, because now she's 19 years old. That's 14 years. You can't just live in America willy-nilly if you're not from America. Now Paola is facing deportation, and clearly that scares her, because now she starts talking in a little bit more detail about what might have happened to Doris. She starts to tell investigators things that keep them on their toes a little bit more. Now, obviously, word spread about this whole thing, and like I said before, this family was very well known. Everybody liked this family, and because Doris was like the main churchgoer, everybody sympathized with Doris, and everyone suspected that this was a little closer to home, that Jon and Paola had something to do with this, and that they were trying to get rid of Doris so that Paola could take over as the mother of the family. Now, going back to Paola keeping the investigators on their toes a little bit, she was having lunch with some of her friends when the investigators just turned up out of nowhere and arrested her. And they used the threat of deportation to get her to speak and turn against Jon. As she's being investigated, she does start to speak as though she knows more than she's letting on, but holds back on like the crucial information, just giving them little tasters. The Worrell family were trying to bail her out, but they refused the bail, stating that she is withholding crucial information in a murder investigation. I think that holds. I think that's enough reason to keep her there. Now, she wasn't being looked at as the main suspect here. The main suspect was Jon, and they were just trying to get her to turn on him and give any information she has on why he did it, when he did it, how he did it, just that type of information. And she doesn't say anything. She does not turn on Jon, so she was deported. And she ended up in Costa Rica. Paola isn't the only one that got out of town. So did Jon. He packed up his entire life, his kids included, and flew them to Vernon Beach, Florida. Then something happens that no one was expecting, because, like I said, everyone was looking a little closer to home, so either Jon or Paola. But back home, 2 arrests were made. A man called Glenn Rodriguez and another man called Brandon Cage were arrested on conspiracy to commit murder. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean that they were the ones that killed her, but it means that they had discussions about killing her. They were in on the plan. They knew of a plan. And now the questions were, planning with who? Who did you plan this with? What was the plan? But neither of them talk. And still, after being held for 5 weeks, neither of them said a word. So at this point, the case goes cold. Now, like I said, Jon had moved to Florida. And now that the case has gone cold, he is now considering another move. I say considering. He does make another move. He packs up the kids, packs up his life, and moves. Not before getting his dog put down. He euthanizes his dog. You best believe I am living in this exact spot if it means that my dog can't go anywhere with me unless I am here. I am living in this exact spot with my dog. You're gonna move. You've come up with a plan to move again. You're just like, I'm just gonna put my dog down and we'll be on the flight. Shows us more and more about who this person is. My blood is boiled. Obviously, this entire story makes me angry. Euthanizing your dog just to move. That dog did nothing. Anyway, now you might be thinking, where does he move to? What was in this place that he so eagerly had to pack up his life, say goodbye to his dog, and leave? I'm just going to say one thing. Costa Rica. Yeah, Paola. Paola was in Costa Rica, as we know, because that's where she got deported to. So he completely packs up his life, like I said, and he's on his way to Costa Rica. The oh-so-happy couple were tracked down by private investigators, and they found out that they're not just like a secret couple anymore. They're now married, and a document states that she is now the mother of Doris's children. It doesn't say she's adopted them or anything like that. It states that she is their mother. Is your blood boiling yet? Let's just say they did not like it when they found out that private investigators were trying to get some inside info. So much so that when a private investigator was found by them, like, lurking, that private investigator was confronted. With Paula screaming at them, like, if you don't leave, I'm going to call an attorney. I'm going to call the police and they will remove you. Why don't you like them asking questions about what happens? The investigators still have no answers to this case. They have nothing on the murder of Doris Worrell, and the case still remains cold. I shouldn't say that the case is unsolved, because quite a few people from their hometown said that the case was unprosecuted, not unsolved. I think it's pretty clear who did it. Not like narrowed down onto a specific person, but we pretty much know the reason why and the two people that were in on it. So I'm just going to say it once again. Unprosecuted, not unsolved. Such an annoying outcome. No one was prosecuted for the murder of Doris Worrell, even though everything points towards Jon and Paola. Even just their suspicious activities and the fact that they are now husband and wife and she's put down as the actual mother of Doris's children. Anyway, I will be back next week with a brand new true crime video, and I hope I will see you there.